All right, we will wait about one more minute to let the rest of our parents and families trickle in and get settled before we get started with tonight's webinar. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us. My name is Natalie Davis, and I work in college programming and orientation. I am an assistant director for college events and family engagement, and I'll be serving as the moderator for this webinar today. This is our first of four family webinars that we have this summer dedicated to assisting families and supporting the networks of our new and incoming students. Tonight's webinar, Successfully Transitioning Your Student to the College, will cover ways in which families can best support their student as they begin their journey here at the University of Chicago. Kind of as an overview, today's agenda includes a little bit of a lot of time for each area represented to present and introduce themselves and their area with the resources and the support that they provide for students in the college. And then we will spend the remainder of the webinar answering questions, some which were submitted ahead of time and those also submitted live during this session. Feel free to submit your questions through the Q&A portal, which you can find at the bottom of your screens. And today we will do as best as we can to get through as many questions as possible. Some questions will be answered live directly from our presenters, and then some will be answered via text through the Q&A feature. At the end of this presentation, if we didn't get to your question, please feel free to reach out to any of the offices that presented tonight or us in college programming and orientation, and we can best direct and help answer your question. So, to get us started, I will kick it over to our presenters. Our first presenter is Steph. Steph is with the College Academic Advising Office. Steph serves as an assistant director and assistant dean of students in CAAO. Go ahead, Steph.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I'm really happy to be here tonight and welcome to all of our families. We can't wait to meet you on campus. To start out, just wanted to quickly go over our mission in academic advising because it drives all the work we do, and that's to provide student-centered support for undergraduates to explore their individual academic interests and plan a path to graduation through a rigorous liberal arts education. Our staff helps students navigate university policies and connect to campus resources while assisting students in self-reflection and making meaning of their UChicago experience. And if I had to summarize what academic advisors do in one sentence, it's helping students get where they want to go. Our office does this through three main focuses. The first is through student support. That's our most central function across the four-year experience through personalized one-on-one advising. Every student is assigned a generalist academic advisor who they will work with on academic course planning, exploration of various fields of study, and identification of experiences and opportunities that help them make the most of their time here at UChicago. The second is navigation through the college. So advisors are highly skilled in connecting students with resources across the university and walking with students through policies, processes, and administrative procedures they'll encounter along the way. And lastly, the third role advisors play is as liaisons to academic departments. In this capacity, advisors assist students in warm handoffs and referrals to faculty and program administrators for discipline-specific guidance that helps students keep track of their priorities and milestones towards the completion of their program of study. And advisors also help students develop confidence in building relationships with faculties and instructors. A big transition point for most students is the way in which academic advising at U Chicago serves them differently than the relationships they may have had with an advisor in high school. Often in the past, students may have had a more prescriptive experience. U Chicago academic advisors are resources who help students grow in their autonomy and thoughtful decision making as they derive meaning from their college experience and make their own choices. So your student will be assigned to an academic advisor on July 13th, so it's coming up really soon. And they'll be able to meet in a one-on-one meeting over the summer in a virtual appointment occurring between July 20th and August 14th. Some advisors will be starting their appointments a bit earlier, with July 14th being their earliest time they'd be having their one-on-one meeting. And they're going to have many touch points with their advisor, not only in the summer, but throughout their first year. They'll have a contact point at least once a quarter with their advisor as well. I think a great way to better understand our office as a family could also be to attend our Intro to Academic Advising and Preparing for Your First Appointment, which is a webinar, part of the webinar series, and that's happening on July 14th at noon Central Standard Time. And I think our colleagues in CPO will be able to drop that in the information chat if you'd like to register or encourage your student to attend there. And it'll go over a bit more about our office and also help you better understand the curriculum broadly and how autumn quarter pre-registration will be working from there. So we look forward to meeting our incoming class and really excited to walk beside them through these next 4 years. So thanks so much, Natalie, throwing it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Steph. Now we will kick it over to our friends in Housing and Residence Life, Alexandra. They are the Associate Director of Residence Life over Learning, Leadership, and Assessment.
Good evening, everybody. As Natalie said, my name is Alexandria. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm really excited to be talking with everybody today. I am the Associate Director of Residence Life, and one of the things that is really cool about me in this particular moment is that on July 31st, I will start my senior year at U Chicago. I will finish up my third year and start my fourth year, so I'm really excited to become a quote senior. I have the opportunity in my role to supervise our assistant directors of residence life who supervise and support our community directors and our resident heads. And in my particular role, I oversee how we develop and support student leaders in our residential communities. But today I'm specifically representing more broadly all of housing and residence life, and I'm really excited to answer everybody's questions today. When thinking about resources and support structure of our office, the bread and butter of our office is going to be our resident heads and our RAs. They are the people who live in the house with the community. Resident heads are going to be advanced graduate members, staff, faculty associated with the University of Chicago in some way, shape, or form. And there is a resident head for each of the 48 houses. So these are really amazing leaders in the community, and they are there to support your students throughout their entire time within housing and residence life and also beyond their time as well. In addition to that, the RAs, which are going to be your peer-to-peer support, they are great student leaders. They are deeply connected to the community, highly involved. They are just so much fun to be around, and they help to create the amazing experience of living in housing and residence life, experiencing house culture, and experiencing the unique house system that UChicago has to offer. Above that, we have the community directors, and the community directors are master levels professionals who are specifically invested in building the best experience for your students possible. That is, their goal is to connect with the students, to build community, to make sure that your students have everything that they may need to thrive within the university environment. Some of the ways in which we go about ensuring that this happens is we hold so many events. There are 48 different houses on campus, and they have an expectation to hold one event every single week, which means there is going to be at minimum one event within their residential community that your students can go and engage with. That can be anything from a potted plant decorating night to a face mask evening to a trip to the opera to a White Sox game. The opportunities are endless. We take students to Six Flags. There are so many great moments and times for your students to be connecting with their peers, but also with our staff that offer them so much support. When students develop relationships with our staff, so RAs, resident head, community director, assistant director, associate directors, they have an access to all of the other resources here on this call. We are really a great funnel for that. So if we have students coming to us with any particular concern related to academic advising, we can help with that warm handoff. If we've got students who need to go and speak with somebody about something that happened to them and they need to speak with an officer in UCPD, we have the capability to build those connections and to support them in that way. And so this really allows our teams to show up with students wherever they are. We meet them where they are. We are in their living environment. And our motto is critical inquiry begins with a good night's rest. Our priority is to make sure that our students and your students are also resting well, are cared for, they have a safe living environment, they feel welcomed and part of a community. And that is what makes it really, really special to be in the house system, because they are these smaller communities that get really, really intertwined. If you ask any UChicago student, they will talk about their first year, their second year, their third year within their house and the leadership roles that they took and the experience that they had. It's actually really, really special when you get an opportunity to talk to students about that. How might you all interface with our office? One of the biggest things that you will hear from Housing and Residence Life across the board, and actually if you go to the parents and family page on the website, one of the biggest things that it will say is our family philosophy. What is our family philosophy? Our family philosophy is developing the whole student, which means we seek to engage with the student directly on anything that we possibly can. We really work to empower them to advocate for themselves, to seek out support for themselves. And also, we know that you all want to make sure your students are safe. So if you do go to the housing.uchicago.edu, which is going to be shared, you can go to the parents page and you can read all about that, and you can look and see other resources that may be available to you. For instance, the very first question is, what support staff is available to my student? What should I do if there's a medical emergency? We have answers to all of those questions. So really excited to get to answer some more of those questions here in this space tonight. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Natalie.
Awesome. Thank you. We will now kick it over to our Assistant Vice President for Student Wellness, Dr. Meeta Kumar.
Thanks, Natalie. Hi, everyone. I will add my congratulations to all of you. It's quite a journey as a family that you have taken to get to this point. And also add a really warm welcome to all of you to the University of Chicago. I'm Meeta Kumar. I'm the Assistant Vice President for UChicago Student Wellness. And I have been here since 2019. My own background is mental health. And prior to this, I was at University of Pennsylvania, also in collegiate mental health. So at the University of Chicago, we believe that health and wellness are foundational to academic and life success. So through UChicago Student Wellness, all of your students have access to comprehensive and confidential medical, mental health care, as well as wellness programs offered at no cost to your students. Most of our services are tailored and designed to address the needs of college students, and we have a large multidisciplinary and diverse staff who are really excited to care for your students. I will provide you with a brief overview of what's available through student wellness to your students, but I also invite you to look through our website that has tons of information and details about our different services, how students can make appointments, access different kinds of care. So lots of information there, but I'll provide you with a quick overview today of what's available to your students. So the first is medical services, which is essentially, think of this as a primary care, full service primary care clinic that's available to your students. So through this, your students can have access to annual wellness visits, routine sick visits for injuries, illnesses, rapid flu, COVID, strep testing, allergy injections, travel consultations, routine labs, prescription refills. In addition to that, we have sports medicine and gynecological care specialists available through us. Now, because we know that injuries and illnesses can happen at any time, for after hours, that's nighttime and weekend, and this is available 365 days a year, there is a nurse advice line that's available to your students, as well as our own student wellness medical providers who are also accessible on call for any kind of urgent need. So again, please look that information up on our website. There's comprehensive mental health services available, which include individual, group, and couples counseling, as well as psychiatric treatment for any array of concerns. And we are always telling students no issue is too small or too big for them to reach out and have someone to consult with, someone to talk to, someone to help guide their navigation to getting better. So the counseling is short term, but there's no limit on the number of sessions that students can have through student wellness. We have case managers available to assist students who might need or might want open-ended long-term care in the community. And we have a database of hundreds of local area providers, and we are happy to assist students to connect with them. The psychiatric treatment is long-term, which means students can have access to psychiatric providers, medication evaluation, medication maintenance through the entire duration of their career at University of Chicago. In addition, your students can also have access to a suite of virtual mental health options through a partnership with Timely Care, again, at no cost to students. This includes individual counseling as well as psychiatric care. There is robust 24/7 access available to mental health clinicians to students. One is a therapist on call. This is a phone line that's available to students. Again, just for any kind of issue, they're looking to access someone just to talk to, or they're having an urgent issue. That's available. Through Timely Care, there's a Talk Now option, which is phone video access, again, 24/7 at no cost. During the daytime, we have a dedicated crisis counselor available through Student Wellness, and students can call, students can walk in to access someone for, again, any kind of an issue that they might be experiencing. Through our health promotion team, which is our public health unit, we are constantly trying to help students expand their awareness of health and wellness issues, expand their health literacy so they are educated and informed about the different options that are available. We invest in skill building, providing options for community support and belonging for them. And just some of the programs that are available through Student Wellness are mindfulness training, alcohol, other drug education, sleep programs, safer sex supplies. And there's also opportunities for your students to get engaged in peer-to-peer support. There's peer health groups that are available to them. There's a student health advisory board. And we just love engaging with your students in helping us just get better, provide feedback to us on an array of initiatives and topics. So we really encourage your students to get engaged in any of these options that are available. Now, we also administer the Student Health Insurance Plan, which is USHIP, through Student Wellness. All students at University of Chicago are required to have an adequate health insurance plan. And this can look a couple different ways. Students can either enroll in USHIP and sign on for the plan that we administer, or they can waive this option and stay on the existing health insurance plan. So again, there's a lot of detailed information available on our website, and I encourage you and your students to look that up. The number one reason I just want to let you know, in our annual staff engagement surveys that we do, that our staff consistently rate the number one reason for the job satisfaction is that they just love working with their students. So again, we want you and your students to know that we are here. We think of ourselves as their partners. And we just, encourage them to reach out and access care. And because of confidentiality, we are not able to share any of the private health information with you all, but we want to encourage your students to, give you consent. So there are forms that are available on our website, a release of information form that your student can sign to give you access to any kind of information that you may need or want to be engaged in. And the last thing I'll leave you with is that if you are having concerns, though, about your student and you're feeling really worried, we are also your partners. We are here to listen to you. So even though we can't share information, I encourage you to reach out to us and share your concerns. And again, you can call, you can email us. All of the staff information is available on our website. And we will do our best to assist you in thinking about ways of supporting your student. So with that, I will turn this back to Natalie.
Awesome. Thank you. Next up, we have two officers from Safety and Security with the University of Chicago Police Department, Officer Gilberty and Officer Hudson.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. So we're going to talk to you about safety and security briefly, and we are under the Department of Safety and Security and Transportation, and we are University of Chicago Police Department, same thing as UCPD. I know you've heard that earlier. So we're 24/7 police department. So we function and we offer services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we have different departments underneath the Department of Safety and Security, which Officer Hudson's going to go over briefly with you.
So we have patrol, we have investigations, we have community relations unit, is which what we are a part of. We also have school resource officers that are involved inside of the schools that you will see them throughout the day. We also have a victims assistance program, and then we are with other events as far as dignitary events and special occasions.
So I just want to go briefly over our jurisdiction. It's North 37th all the way south to 64. And we're Cottage Grove to Lakeshore Drive. And the reason being that we have an extended jurisdiction is because a lot of our buildings are not just on campus, they're extended beyond campus. And we also have charter schools off campus. So that's why we have an extended jurisdiction. And we work closely with our partners, Chicago Police, because we are within the 2nd and 3rd district of Chicago Police. And I do want to mention that we do have a distinct number different from Chicago Police. If you dial 911, it's going to get you to Chicago Police Department. It will not get you to University of Chicago Police. We do have a separate number, which would be the 773-702-8181, and you will become well aware of what that number is. Also, we are going to provide some other resources to you that University of Chicago Police offers. So we're going to go briefly over some of those resources that we have for you.
So we do have a U Chicago Safe app, which not only can the students download, but the parents can download as well. It has great resources on there as far as transportation, a map of our campus, how to kind of map out someone's trip and someone else can follow them. So if a parent want to follow a child, if they're going to a certain destination, they can go there. If they have any services, if they need to request any transportation, we do coverage. Umbrella coverage, we do safety escorts, we have access to the shuttle buses that's on there as well. So it's a great resource that anyone can have access to.
And you can download that for Androids or iPhone, Apple iPhones. Again, the schedules are in real time for the shuttle buses. We also offer, there's a resource there, it's Via Smart, which students can request a ride. I believe it starts after 5 p.m. and it goes somewhere into the AM hours. So that's another good resource for the students, as well as, like we mentioned, the UChicago shuttle buses. And we have them go all North Campus, South Campus, even downtown if they need to get transportation downtown, in addition to the CTA buses and other types of CTA transportation. So we do have those. And they're all UCPD provides security alerts and C alerts. So the parents could also sign up for them, or guardians could sign up for those alerts. So I would highly advise that you sign up for those C alerts and security alerts. They're provided by the Department of Safety and Security, and it'll provide you with information that's there may be an ongoing incident. For instance, if there's a tornado or some type of hazmat situation, you will be provided the information, and then there will be follow-up updates to that. Some of them are just for information purposes only. So I would definitely try and download those alerts so you're well aware of what's going on if there's an incident that's occurring on campus.
Yeah, that UChicago app will have those pop on there for notifications. So that is a great resource to have. We also have the transportation as far as the Chicago Transit Authority that's in our jurisdiction, so we can help assist students throughout the campus of making sure that they get to their destination.
And briefly, I think I have one more thing to say. The safety escorts, what that is a student can contact us via the dispatchers and say that they don't feel safe, even if it's like a block away for their destination. They can call us and we can follow them to their destination. We offer that service 24/7. It's a good service. You don't even have to give a name. You can remain anonymous. Just let our dispatchers know where you're located and then where you what your destination is, and a UCPD officer will follow you. Of course, that's within our jurisdiction. Also, we have safety ambassadors. They'll be all over campus and in our extended jurisdiction area. They have the high visibility vests. And they're able to get in contact with UCPD if you need an officer for some type of, if you need us for anything that, an incident that occurred or any other directions, just any reason, they can get in contact with us. Also, one more thing, we do have the e-bells on and around campus. They are emergency bells that all they do, there's a red button on them, and the students will be able to contact us just through those e-phones. They are also equipped with cameras on top. There are numerous ones also not only on campus, but our extended jurisdiction. That's another resource for students and staff to have, that just in case an emergency situation and they need to contact us. Doesn't even have to be an emergency situation. It could be a non-emergency situation if a student needs directions or things like that. So that's another service that we provide. And I believe that's all the services there. I'm sure there are more.
Yeah, we also help with registering your items as far as electronics or scooters or bikes and things like that, what you will be using throughout your school year. So we can help register those items in case of the event that you happen to misplace them. Someone can turn them in and we can make sure that it gets back to the owner.
I think that's it. I think that's all for UCPD.
Awesome. Thank you, officers.
You're welcome.
All right. Wrapping us up, our last presenter tonight is from the CARE team. So I will introduce Lee. Lee is the Senior Assistant Dean of Students and the Director of College Care and Support.
Hi, Mom and Dad. Hi, students. It's so good that you're here, and we are so thrilled that you're going to be joining us this autumn. My name is Lee Cravens. I'm the director of the College Care and Support team. In summary, our office works with students that may be experiencing difficulty, and we're helping them navigate some of those challenges and make a plan for success. In particular, the things that we're looking at and helping students with are academic and personal challenges, delayed graduation timelines and barriers to academic persistence and completion, and students considering like taking a leave of absence or needing help with resuming their studies after a leave of absence. The Care and Support Team is dedicated to fostering a compassionate, inclusive, and resilient academic community for our college students. We strive to provide comprehensive support services that empower college students to navigate personal and academic challenges. Our mission is to promote academic success and personal growth by offering tailored resources, interventions, and a supportive network. Through collaboration with campus partners, we aim to create a nurturing environment in which every student feels valued, supported, and equipped to thrive. In short, if your student's having a hard time, this is often a great first stop on their journey. We will help them figure out the best ways to manage some of those concerns, but also get them connected with the right resources and the right people here on campus. Some ways that we support students. The first area is student support. We will meet with your student and check in with them. We help students make goals on how they want to accomplish addressing some of those concerns. And sometimes that means creating a little bit of accountability. We're also advocating for students, and we're working with other campus offices to try to get things resolved for them. We do provide outreach to students. We receive all different kinds of reports of concern into our office, and this can be from faculty directly, other campus partners. Sometimes we get referrals as well. If you go onto the Care and Support website, you can see our referral form. And yes, mom and dad, you can submit a referral form to us. And do just want to let you know if parents do have concerns, we will be more than happy to discuss some of those concerns with you, and then contact your student to see how we can best support them. The last thing that we do is provide student connection. We understand that students are developing their sense of belonging and their sense of meaning here at the institution, and we want them to also have experiences outside of the classroom. So sometimes that's doing warm handoffs to other campus partners. We also host welcome back dinners and other fun events where students, especially when they are coming back from a leave of absence or resuming their studies, we will have events where they can meet with other students as well. We're also looking at ways that they connect with their peers. So, we may even look at how can we get them involved in student organizations, or how can we get them involved in different study groups here on campus so that they can be involved with other students. And we also work with lots of different campus offices, again, to try to get the students connected with resources. So, my advice, if you're needing some assistance, the things that often will come to our office is if your student needs some support connecting to campus resources, they may be experiencing difficulty, can use some individualized support. If your student has been hospitalized, if there are questions about taking a leave or resuming studies, if the student may be on a delayed graduation timeline and can use some guidance, or they've experienced a major life event like a death in the family or a big transition, we can help them with some of those things. Really fast, if you're needing to engage with us on our website, you can always email us at collegecareandsupport@uchicago.edu. You can also submit a Care and Support referral form. I know we're running low on time. I do just want to say really quickly, we talked a lot about emergency resources. Our office is not open 24/7, but we work with all of these other campus offices as well. Again, some of the emergency resources, we talked about university police. We also talked about some of the resources as far as therapist on call with student wellness. We also have, as part of UChicago Help, it's our Dean on Call service as well. If you want to check out their website, they have a section on there engaging the Dean on Call. So if you have a concern for your student and it's after hours, you can always activate the Dean on Call. They are available 24/7. They also partner with all the other offices, including UCPD, my office, Student Wellness, and we get those reports. So anytime there's an issue after hours, we will get the follow-up of that the next day and then make sure that we reach out to those students. Last but certainly not least, Natalie had shared in the chat, pro tip, please make sure you check out the student resource directory This is kind of a nice comprehensive list of all of the campus resources because obviously we don't expect you to remember all of this, but you can go on there and see the different kinds of resources to get connected with all of the other offices. So thank you so much, and I'll pass it back to Natalie.
Awesome. Thank you, Lee. We will now be moving into our Q&A portion of tonight's webinar. So if you have any additional questions that you have not yet asked in the Q&A function, please feel free to send in your questions now. We will get started and kind of bounce around through our presenters with the questions we've received so far and start to get some answers to those. So starting first, I will pass it to Steph in advising. We have a question about academic advisors. So it says, is the academic advisor associated with the majors that the student indicates their interest in? Who serves academic advisors, professors, graduate students, or administrative staff? Like who serves as those advisors?
Thanks for the question, Natalie. So UChicago is quite unique in its advising model. So every incoming student will receive a generalist academic advisor. This is a professional staff person that differs from an academic department. Our advisors are not assigned to particular student majors at all. Any given advisor will have advisees who are first, second, third, and fourth year, so all levels, and have students across every major available. For the discipline-specific advisement, that's where I was talking about our department connections and liaison roles. Students do get that discipline-specific support from faculty and instruction and program administrators housed within those academic units. This works particularly well. As you might imagine, we have students who might be interested also in a lot of different things, or might want to major in more than one thing, or pair major and minor. So they will talk to each of those areas separately if they want something more focused and in-depth, specific to that area of study. Advisors most comprehensively look at the degree overall. Our office, the college academic advisor, looks at the degree overall and helps them map out a pathway through the different programs of interest they want to pursue. And then works with them also towards the completion of the core requirements. And we also recently hosted a webinar on the core back in June. I think Natalie can also share that as well, where you can see our advisors in partnership with some of our collegiate faculty members talking about the particular core components there. So I hope that helped answer the question, but I'd be happy to follow up with any clarification anyone needs.
Awesome. Thank you, Steph. We will now pass it over to Alexandria in housing. So it's kind of a two-part question that we have. When will my student know about their housing assignment? And are we able to set up a tour of the dorms once our student finds out which they are assigned to?
Yes. Well, not yes, I will answer the questions. The answer to the tour is not a yes. So I did answer the question about the tour in the chat as well, but unfortunately, our residence halls are being used over the summer with conference guests, groups come in, teams, math people, also summer students, etc. So we are not able to provide individual tours for the residence halls. As for when students are going to find out about when their housing assignment is announced, I was just looking at that, and it is sometime towards the end of August. I want to make sure that I give you all the right information, but it is available on our website. I'm looking for it right now. I can drop it in the chat later when I find it, but it is, I think, like around the third week of August, around that timeline.
Sorry about that. Looks like Natalie's Zoom cut off on her. So I will pick us back up until if she's able to come back. Yeah, so question for student wellness. We have kind of a variety of questions about like insurance. So basically, is care available for students even if they waive U-ship? And then are they still available to have the services if they remain on like their parents' insurance or a different insurance policy?
Yeah, so I see lots of questions about that. So, as I mentioned, for all of the services that are available through Student Wellness, there's no cost to your students. So, in a sense, we don't bill them for any of the services that we provide through Student Wellness. Where insurance comes into play is for prescription medications, for some lab testing that may be needed, for radiology orders that may need to be put in to UChicago Medicine, for specialty care that we may refer your students to outside of student wellness. That's when insurance comes into play. But for all of the services that are available through student wellness, there's no cost for any of it.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you, Lincoln, for helping me and jumping in. Wi-Fi is a little bit spotty tonight. Our next question will go to the safety and security team. What is the best piece of advice you can give students to staying safe around campus and in the U Chicago community?
No, hi. So the best thing is to always be alert, making sure that you know where your items are, not placing them down and walking away from it, even if you're going from a class to a different class. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on your items. Make sure that you are not walking around, indulging your phone and having your headphones turned down. It's kind of keeping a visual, especially during the nighttime hours where the vision is kind of get blurry a little bit. So just kind of making sure that vehicles are stopping and that you have the right walking path, and also informing someone where you're going. It's good to always travel in pairs and informing someone where you're going, just in case like your phone dies and you have no sense of direction of where you're going. That's where you can contact, UCPD or one of our our safety ambassadors, and we'll be able to assist. But always be open to asking us any type of questions.
Yeah, avoid dark alleyways. Be mindful of who's behind you. If somebody's going to try and piggyback and get into a building, could be for any reason. Theft packages or thefts of packages also. If you're going to a library, I highly recommend that you secure your belongings. Don't leave them sitting on a table. If you have somebody that can watch them, that'd be good. Even if you go to the restroom, you have nobody to watch them, please secure your belongings and take them with you, because we do have thefts on campus. But yeah, just be mindful and aware of your surroundings and be observant. And especially if you're going to be at bus stops and things like that, just keep your phones tucked away in your laptops and secured. So there's no crime of opportunity like thefts or things like that.
So that registering your items, and if it's like a backpack or purse, some type of GPS tracker is really good too.
Yes.
So you can kind of have an idea.
The Apple
of where-
AirTags,
Yeah,
right?
the AirTags, Tile, any of those GPS devices would be great.
Awesome. Thank you both.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
back over to housing. We have two sort of the similar questions, and I see you typing in the chat now. But if you just want to answer out loud, how does mailing kind of work once the students find out about which residence hall and room they will be in? Can they start shipping packages?
So there is going to be a lot of significantly more detailed information that comes out closer to move in that walks you through like how to do this, what we can accept, partners that you can utilize. So I'm actually about to, as Natalie said, I'm answering in the chat. One of the biggest recommendations I would have for everybody is to check out the resources that we have available online for our campus partners. So we partner with Bedloft. we partner with GradGuard, and we partner with U-Storage. You may not know what any of those are. I'm about to briefly tell you. Bedloft is going to be optional essentials like rugs, fridge, microwave combos. Those are delivered before you move into your student's room, and they are picked up after move out. You do not have to worry about them. They align with the university requirements. They are a trusted campus partner who we have said this is who we recommend and agree that we want to have in here. There was a question earlier about renter's insurance. It is an absolute must that you are getting renter's insurance. It is a portion of your housing contract that says that if you do not have renter's insurance, you are knowingly taking on the responsibility of any considerable concerns that may come up. So we partner with GradGuard, which is an organization that specifically creates renter's insurance for living within campus housing. So again, that is something that is a partnership with us. And then we have U-Storage, which allows pre-shipping, summer storage, and pickup and delivery. So utilizing U-Storage, you can connect with them and get all of these pre-things situated, and then they will come in. And again, prior to move-in, we allow these individuals into our residence halls, and they will deliver the items to your students' rooms. And in regards to the mail and the packages, we do our best, and I want to say we do our best because we are not perfect, that when packages are delivered to the residence halls by a specific date, we do our best to get those packages into student rooms. That is not always a guarantee, but we do our best to try to alleviate not only the pressure on our package rooms, because I mean, you've got an 1,100 person residence hall and everybody's shipping something about this big, and you can't have space for that. So we really try to find the balance between our staff time and also making sure that you all have everything that you need at the time. But again, a lot more information is going to be coming out closer to the housing assignment deadline, or not, the housing assignment release date, as well as also preparations for opening. But highly recommend checking out U-Storage, Bedloft, and GradGuard.
Awesome. Thank you. We have about 10 minutes remaining in our webinar, so I just want to mention again the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screens. Please feel free to send in any more questions that you do have. Right now, though, we will pass it back over to advising. So we have a question about the webinar coming up called Intro to Academic Advising and Preparing for Your First Appointment. Who should attend this webinar? Should it be parents that are attending or students? And then can you kind of talk about the 4-year academic advisor to student relationship as you see it, Steph?
Thanks, Natalie. So the webinar is highly recommended for students. It is going to be focused on students. If you are welcome as family members just to get a deeper familiarity with our office in the webinar, if you'd like, but the audience is going to be focused on students. All the webinars this summer are also posted on that webinar page that Natalie shared before. Just so, as families, you have a comprehensive understanding of the resources. In academic advising, we do focus on our relationship with students. Lee Cravens mentioned earlier from the care team that we don't share information necessarily with families. We have some restrictions about that. So that also applies to academics, and we have FERPA restrictions on that. We highly emphasize speaking with your student directly rather than trying to outreach to the advisor because we're just very limited in what we can share. And when students outreach to us directly, we do let the student know we were contacted and share that a family member is concerned or would like to connect with you, and highly encourage you to have that direct communication and relationship. As we cannot disclose student records, we can't talk about specific student accounts, but we're happy to always explain anything on the college website as a general policy or how it works and functions. We're always happy to answer those questions for our families. Regarding the 4-year relationship, It's a really kind of unique, amazing thing that you're able to work with a student from the time they enter the college to graduation. Based on a lot of different other institutions, an advising office might be set up very differently, or a student might move through a lot of different relationships. This is an anchor relationship in that the student will have their academic advisor in the college all 4 years, but they will have other kinds of advisors that will provide other things to them. So as you might already be familiar with, there is career advising, and a bunch of resources for that are coming out this summer. As I mentioned before, there is specific faculty advising from academic departments that students can seek and receive. And we can help as college academic advisors facilitate those conversations and relationships as they pursue their opportunities. But we're consistently working with our students to help them achieve what they're looking to accomplish while they're here, both in the academic pathways based on what their timelines are, what their interests are, what they'd like to study, to plan when they want to take which courses, what courses might fit best in their schedule, to be those connection points to the variety of opportunities on campus, whether it be fellowships, whether it be working in a lab, whether it be other co-curricular opportunities. We're always kind of looking at the landscape and trying to find the best way to connect them. We're also here to help triage a situation that comes up, and I'll call for the care team again, because we work very closely with Lee and his group to connect students who we might find out need additional resources across a variety of different domains. So that's a little bit about our office. I've been in our office for 7 years tomorrow. Will mark my 7th year in academic advising, and I've been in UChicago overall 10 and a half years now. Believe it or not, time flies. So there's a lot of folks here who have been here quite some time. I'll turn it back over to you, Natalie.
Awesome. Thank you. I wanted to jump it over to Dr. Kumar and also Lee. Can you all provide your best piece of advice for kind of navigating the landscape with parents when it comes to students' mental health, to the care and support they may receive outside of the classroom? What can you recommend that families may do, conversations they may have with their student, anything that way regarding mental health and care and support?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Natalie. A few things I would encourage you to be thinking about, and perhaps encourage your students to be looking into, is, as I sort of like opened by saying, that health and wellness are critically important to not just academic, but their overall life success. And seeking help is a sign of strength. So if there's anything that we would like emphasize, I think as smart people, it can sometimes be challenging to ask for help, because students may see that as a sign of weakness, and at times also have a sense of shame or embarrassment, or feel that they might be the only one, perhaps, that might be struggling with things. So normalizing that struggle is going to be a part of this experience. And they're transitioning just developmentally to whole sets of like new things here that might require some adjustment. So asking for help is a sign of strength. There's lots and lots of resources and opportunities available for your students to just connect with. And in my experience, it's a really caring, compassionate community that they are entering. And the second thing that I would recommend is also be proactive. I think oftentimes students may, again, sort of feel challenged to reach out when they are experiencing either some stress or distress. and neglect that and wait for a really long time. And sometimes these issues then unnecessarily sort of amplify and become sort of like a bigger thing. So be proactive, learn about the resources, and ask for help.
The only other thing I wanted to say is capitalize on the relationship that you have with your child. I strongly encourage you to be open and honest and have open communication with them to say, hey, how is school going? I'm concerned about you. I also want you to know that in the care and support office, you can always contact us. I may not be able to share information, but I will gladly receive your information, and I want you to know that I always do things with that information. The other thing I can do is help to educate you about ways we could approach some of the concerns. Also educate you on the different resources. So especially if you're worried about your child and don't know how to approach it or what to do, I can certainly tell you about what's available to you so that you and your child can have that conversation as well. We want your child to be well. We want them to thrive. So please feel free. You can utilize these offices.
Awesome. Thank you all. Does any other presenter have one final piece of advice or information that they want to share regarding the resources office, a helpful tip for families before we close out our webinar this evening?
I will jump in. I will say encourage your student to get involved within their house. The house culture and the house community is truly a foundational experience and part of the U Chicago culture to the nth degree. It is something that carries, they graduate with their house. Like it is something that goes through all 4 years. So it's really special. And in doing so, those are the people when they move in. That's who they're meeting when they move in. The very first house meeting is Wednesday night after the processional through the gate. Like this is so core to what they do that if they get involved, this is going to be the way in which they gain access to so much on campus, including RSOs, including mentorship opportunities, research opportunities, just by having the connections with all 4 years in one house. There's a cross section of everybody from every different major. So it truly is a transformational experience. And so I would highly recommend, especially if you're hearing from your student, I feel like I'm not making friends. I feel like I don't have anywhere to go. I feel like I don't have anyone to talk to. Tell them to go talk to their RA. Their RAs want them to talk to them. Please send your students to their RAs, send them to their resident heads, because their job is to connect with them. And sometimes we have to go out and find the students. And we would love if the students could come to us. And a lot of them do. And I want to be really clear about that. We have some great attendance at a lot of our programs and a lot of our events. So they can be part of that. That would be my encouragement.
If I may, I wanted to chime in just a little bit. There was a question regarding do a lot of students have 504? This is referencing students with disabilities. And I just want to say we have lots of students registered with disabilities at the university. One thing that's very important is students have to self-disclose if they have a disability and they're wanting to register that. If a student currently has accommodations in high school, I would strongly recommend that they at least consider registering for accommodations in the college. Also, just want to let folks know that students get to self-select if they would like to utilize their accommodations, but once they have them, they have them. So I often recommend for students to please go ahead and register. And if they decide they don't want to use them, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. It does sometimes take just a little while to get those set up. So if we know that students are wanting to register for disability accommodations, I do recommend that they get that set up early so they can have that at the start of the quarter.
Awesome.
And
Did
as I
anyone?
mentioned, Student Disability Services is the go-to place for that. I put that in the chat, so please look up. There's a lot of detailed information available on that.
Officers, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that we're open 24/7 and that if you have any questions that we are here to assist and help with. And then you can stop by. We can try to assist you with pretty much escorts and emergency services. We work hand in hand with the other departments, so feel free to come in.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I do want to address one of the final questions in the chat. It is about orientation and kind of the dates and timeline for that. So, Move-In will take place on September 22nd, and with Move-In, we offer a lot of different family orientation sessions. You'll hear from some of our academic partners, some of our wellness and support offices and resources that we offer. We'll host different sessions and open houses. And there'll be programming pretty much all day on September 22nd and 23rd for our family members of new students at U Chicago. So please feel free to join us on campus with your student for those activities. We will wrap up on the 23rd with our opening convocation, our class procession, and then our family reception to kind of close out the family orientation experience here at U Chicago, which is also always very fun. We definitely recommend that you come and interact with our team during orientation. Thank you all for taking the time tonight, our presenters, our guests, and our families that are participating. This is awesome. This will be posted on our website and on our YouTube channel probably tomorrow afternoon following the conclusion of this webinar. So feel free to rewatch. And you can also access any of our resources through the links that we provided in the chat today, or reach out to our office, which I provided our email in the chat as well, if you have any questions following this webinar. Be sure to join us for our next family webinar on Tuesday, July 14th. That will be our International Family Orientation webinar, or our following webinar after that on Tuesday, August 4th, which is Navigating Campus Opportunities. Have a great rest of your evening, and thank you, everyone.